Hello, welcome everybody to the Zink tennis vlog. My partner Ben Zink is not here today. Today I want to cover a topic that I think a lot of parents will be interested in. I get questions a lot of times around the world when I'm traveling with Tyler. What's it like being a parent, and what's it like being a parent coach? So I have a lot of advice for parents out there because I've gone through so much, not only with Tyler, but with Lindsay and Kate. And I think there's a lot of things that you could learn from my mistakes, and you can also learn from the things that I do really well right now. But one of the big questions that I get daily is, what's it like being a tennis parent, and what are my roles being a tennis parent? And I think one of the biggest roles that I have to play is just really the easiest one is just being there for them. That's the hardest one, right? Just being there for them. I think so much of it, what happens to us is that we get caught up in the match and we get caught up in what they're doing, but we don't realize that they're nervous, they have anxiety. So the one big thing is, and I know most of you out there are doing it already, but I'm just giving you my advice that I think you really need to just show relaxation, show that you're there for them. And again, we talk about this in the last video, is that not to be focused on always results, but just focused on performance. And just remember, parents, we're not out there on the court. And my dad used to say to me, it's easy to play the perfect match from the sidelines. So I think one of the advice that I give to you, and this isn't just tennis, this is every sport, that the parents really have to be supportive when the student is out on the court. Some of the other things that I think are really important is that when your child, your son or daughter, come off the court, is to be able to give them time. They are struggling too. And I know that, if you're like me, I'm a competitor, and when they first come off the court, I get, I'm anxious. If they lost, I feel bad. There's a lot of emotions going on. So what I've learned to do is try to give them time. When Tyler or Lindsay come off the court, the one thing that I say to them is that, I shake their hand and tell them that I'm proud of them, and then I ask them, where do you want to go get some lunch? And that's the focus. I will say, for me personally, it's hard for me not to articulate the match right after the match because everything's very fresh. So I think those parents that are struggling with that is that take a journal with you or take an iPad with you and write the things down that you want to talk to your son or daughter about, because these are all learning lessons. And this doesn't even just happen when you're winning, it happens when you're losing, but it happens when you're winning too. So you really want to, write those questions down, and then maybe at the dinner that night, you maybe ask them, you say, hey Tyler, I was wondering if it would be okay if I have a few questions that I'd like to talk to you about your match, and would you be willing to talk about it to me? And and I'm sure you'll get the answer that they would love to do that. But right after the match is a really tough time. The other thing I want to talk about is just compassion. The parents that I see out there, are very invested. I've been doing this for a long time. I coached for a long time, over 30 years, and now I have 2 kids that are 15, 13, and 12, and they all play competitive tennis, and I know it's not easy. And if you ask my wife, Lauren, when they come off the court, and they lose a tough match, it's tough for me because I'm a competitor. But one of the things that I have to remember is back when I played, and those parents out there that really have never played matches, it's not easy. When I came off the court, I was really upset. I was upset with myself. I beat myself up. And what I really needed is somebody to be there for me. And that's important, somebody to be there for me and to be compassionate. Now, I'm not telling you that we, are trying to bring up, softies. That's not what I'm talking about. But being compassionate is just understanding what they're feeling like and what it feels like to just be out there and know what it feels like to lose. So we want to try to be compassionate, and sometimes being compassionate is not saying much. Just say, hey, let's go get lunch, and let's talk about this a little bit later. And I think that's another tip that can help you. So if you're interested, the email will be up at the end of this video. If you like what you see, leave us a comment on YouTube.
or leave us a comment on Facebook. We really appreciate the feedback. We're getting so much for doing these. It just makes me want to keep going. Thank you and have an awesome day.